The story begins with a young boy named Ethan. Ethan has loved soccer since childhood. Ethan's father serves in the Navy and is preparing for a deployment. Ethan and his mother accompany him to say goodbye. As his parents get a last glance at each other, Ethan, engrossed in his soccer ball, dribbles towards the road. Just then, a large truck speeds towards him and crashes into his direction. The scene fades to black, and we fast forward 10 years into the future. Ethan's father is stationed on a ship when he receives a message from Ethan. The family is moving to a new town, and Ethan's mother instructs him to help with the move. Instead, Ethan heads outside to play soccer. The story then reveals what happened 10 years ago. When the truck hit Ethan, the impact landed on the soccer ball rather than Ethan himself. The ball absorbed most of the force, sending Ethan flying but leaving him unharmed. Ever since then, Ethan has considered the ball his closest companion. In the present, Ethan and his family relocate to Nankatsu Town, Japan. As Ethan dribbles his soccer ball around town, he spots a group of kids arguing over playing on a local soccer field. They belong to two rival schools, Nankatsu and Sutetsu. The captain of the Sutetsu team, Gavin, challenges Nankatsu's captain, Ian, saying, "If any of your players can score even one goal against me, I'll concede defeat and leave." Hearing this, everyone agrees to the challenge. Players from various sports attempt to score, but Gavin, an exceptionally skilled goalkeeper, blocks every shot. Ethan watches from a distance, mesmerized by Gavin's talent. Later, as Ian heads home, he encounters Ethan. Ethan, eager to challenge Gavin, surprises Ian. However, Gavin has already left. Ethan asks Ian for Gavin's address, and Ian leads him to a hill overlooking Gavin's house. Ian doesn't believe Ethan can defeat Gavin. After all, Gavin recently returned from the national championships where he didn't let a single goal past him. Determined, Ethan writes a challenge on his soccer ball and kicks it towards Gavin's house. At that moment, Gavin is practicing in his backyard. The ball lands right in front of him and he effortlessly catches it. Ian is stunned by Ethan's powerful kick. Meanwhile, a drunken passerby, intrigued by the ball, follows its trajectory and ends up inside Gavin's property. The drunk man informs Gavin that the ball came from the distant hill. Shocked, Gavin sets out to find the person behind the kick, accompanied by the drunk man. Ethan and Gavin finally meet near the soccer field where the earlier challenge took place. Ethan boldly declares that he was the one who kicked the ball that far. Gavin, skeptical, doesn't believe a kid could achieve such power. Annoyed, Gavin kicks a ball straight at Ethan, who skillfully redirects it into the air before launching it back at Gavin. Just then, a truck passes between them, but Ethan's kick sends the ball perfectly underneath the truck, landing right at Gavin's feet. The spectators are left speechless. Finally, Gavin accepts Ethan's challenge, but under one condition: Ethan must first defeat the Sutetsu B team. Ethan, eager to face Gavin, immediately agrees. The match begins with Ethan up against Sutetsu's B team, whose goalkeeper is none other than Gavin himself. Ethan charges toward the goal, dodging defenders effortlessly. Despite their best efforts, the Sutetsu players fail to stop him. Ethan delivers a powerful shot, but Gavin blocks it. The ball remains in play. Suddenly, the drunken man kicks the ball back towards Ethan. To everyone's shock, the man reveals his identity. He's Roberto Hongo, a former Brazilian soccer star. As the ball soars towards Gavin, both he and Ethan leap for it. Ethan executes a perfect header, scoring the goal. The crowd is in disbelief. Gavin, frustrated at being defeated by a kid, challenges Ethan to an official inter-school tournament. Ethan gladly accepts. Fuming, Gavin storms off, leaving Ian in charge of the field. Impressed by Ethan's performance, Ian invites him to join the Nankatsu soccer team and explains the inter-school tournament. Every year, Nankatsu and Sutetsu compete across multiple sports, but Nankatsu always struggles in soccer. Later, Ethan recognizes Roberto and is astounded. Roberto asks Ian about coaching the Nankatsu team, but Ian, unfamiliar with international soccer, is unaware of Roberto's legacy. To prove himself, Roberto kicks a ball high into the air, then leaps up and scores a goal before it even touches the ground. Ian is left speechless. Realizing Roberto's expertise, Ian immediately appoints him as Nankatsu's coach. Ethan, amazed by Roberto's technique, tries to replicate it. Roberto, seeing Ethan's passion for soccer, acknowledges his potential. Ethan trains tirelessly and quickly masters the move, impressing both Roberto and Ian. The next morning, Ethan is surprised to find Roberto having breakfast at his house. Roberto hands him a letter from his father. It turns out that Roberto is a close friend of Ethan's father who has sent him to personally train Ethan. Overjoyed, Ethan feels honored to be mentored by a soccer legend. After breakfast, Ethan heads to school to meet his new teammates. He introduces himself as a transfer student and reveals that he has just joined Nankatsu. When Ian announces that Ethan defeated Gavin, the entire team is stunned. After all, Gavin had never conceded a goal in nationals, yet Ethan scored against him immediately. Recognizing Ethan's talent, the team starts respecting him. Meanwhile, frustrated by his loss, Gavin dedicates himself to even more intense training. While Ethan and his teammates discuss strategy, the Nishigaoka team arrives. Nishigaoka is a strong team, and Roberto has invited them for a practice match to assess Nankatsu's skills. However, Nishigaoka's captain, Henry Urabe, mocks the Nankatsu team, recalling how they lost their last school tournament by a humiliating 30-0. The practice match begins. As Gavin watches from a distance, he is intrigued and decides to stay. Roberto appoints Ian as team captain due to his leadership skills. Henry believes his team will easily dominate Nankatsu and quickly takes control of the game. But then Ethan steps in. He takes command of the field, displaying incredible skill and scoring a stunning goal. Henry, unaware of Ethan's presence, is left in shock. Although Ethan could win the match single handedly, he passes the ball to his teammates to help them improve. Thanks to Ethan, the entire team's performance improves. Gavin, witnessing Ethan's impact, is astonished. In the final moments, Ethan sends a perfect long pass to Ian, who scores with a header, securing victory for Nankatsu. No one expected them to win, and the team now sees Ethan as their hero. Watching the match, Roberto gains a deeper understanding of how to train Nankatsu. That evening, Roberto shows Ethan his collection of memorabilia from Brazil. Ethan is inspired. He makes a vow. He will elevate Japan's soccer to surpass even Brazil's. And so Ethan's journey to soccer greatness begins